Hi everyone, Happy New Year to you, and this is Kay. Welcome here to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Hope you've all had a wonderful New Year's and a wonderful Christmas. We had a lovely time at our friend's place last night, and it was just really nice. Anyway, so today I'm going to be making a 3-pocket bag pocket thing that I was inspired to make by watching Gayle Agostinelli. She used a wine bag. I didn't have a wine bag by using this newspaper bag that was already cut down, and as you can see, I've already made one because I wanted to see how it went. And it's got 3 pockets in it, so I thought I would show you how I made that today to fit in, just going to fit in my journal beautifully, just like that on a page. So which page I'll go it on, I don't know, whether it be a map page, I'm not sure. Anyway, so I made that yesterday. Before we went out. So I'm going to show you how I made this. Yes, how did you make it, Kay? So what I did was I turned it around and I cut off this bottom of the bag already, and because it wouldn't fit in my journal the way the width was, I actually had to cut off some of the sides. So it's actually basically open at the moment, but that's fine. We'll just leave it the way it is. Just leave it the way it is. And now, because I don't want to have that showing, like that's at the back, so that'll be stuck on my page, so you can't see that bit. So I'm going to do the same for this one here. It's got a bit of a crease where it was, so I'm folding it up to here. Measurements. Your journal. My journal is 5.5 by 8.5. The signatures are. So this is 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. So that's, I'm going to write down, because some people like to have measurements. 4 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inch. And so I'm going to fold it up at 3 1/4. Fold. 3 1/4, and that'll make 1 pocket. So there'll be 1 pocket there, and then there'll be another pocket there, and there'll be another pocket here. And if you wanted to glue it down the sides here and not on the bottom, you could almost make a pocket behind, make a 4 pocket. Why didn't I think of that? I could do that, couldn't I? I might do that in the journal, see how I go. Anyway. Brainwave, Kay. Brainwave. Anyway, so we're going to just going to line the where I've got the edges, just to give it a bit of substance, really. So to do that, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit, like my bag. Obviously, if you're using a bag, the whole bag entirely, you just have to be fiddly a little bit and do it this way, which I've done before with an envelope and things like that. It can be done, so it's just a bit fiddlier. So I'm going to cheat to make life a bit easier, because it's a bit warm. And cutting corners here because it's a bit warm. Oh, just making sure it's coming out. I think it's coming out now. Yeah. So at our friend's place, we had a fondue night. We had the fondue recipe with some bread. The fondue recipe has wine and kirsch and paprika and Gruyere cheese. And what was the other cheese? There was another cheese in there as well, all mixed up with some corn flour to make it nice and thick in the container on top of the flame. And that was That was really nice. Tempting. It was so nice. You had to make sure you had stopped, so you knew there was other things coming to eat. So you had to stop yourself from eating too much of this lovely cheesy bread type texture. It was lovely. And then for main course, there was chopped up vegetables, variety of vegetables, and some meat and some tofu, because one of the female friend we have is a vegetarian, so there was tofu. I only think I've only tried it once, and I'm not a big fan personally, but so there was 2 pots to be fondued, and one of them had just oil in it, olive oil, because that's what they do as a side business. It's olive oil production. And the other pot had a vegan stock in it. So you could put your fork, special fondue forks. You can buy at secondhand shops, in whatever you wanted to cook, and had that. And you sort of like, you might pierce a bit of chicken, say, for instance, and you would put it in one of the, either the oil or the stock, and just leave it there till it was cooked, and put it out and put it on your plate, because you can't eat straight from the fork, otherwise you burn yourself. And you need to put it on the plate. And then they had a variety of sauces and things like that, like condong sauce, and condong is a native Australian plum, and that was a really nice little sauce to go with the things. And you could just have, we had about 5 forks each, and they all have a colour on the end, so you know which was your fork. And so I had green forks, and my husband had red forks, and so that way you know what you've got in is yours, and not pinching somebody else's decision to make. And then you just have that on your plate, and that was really lovely to have that. And they asked us to bring the sweet, and because I wasn't really sure about what kind of chocolate to get for a fondue, I just took berries and elderflower cordial, which I mixed with the berries, and had some cream, and put some meringues in this dish, and lots of berries, cream, and just for good measure I threw in some of those cooking marshmallows, the little ones that you can also put in your hot chocolates. And it was actually turned out really nicely. It was a variation of a Jamie Oliver recipe, and everybody liked that because there was lots of fruit, and the fruit went in with the elderflower cordial, sort of tasted a little bit different. So now I've got a bit of strength for my edges. So what are we doing next, Kate? I don't want to stick anything down just yet. So I folded up actually where the line was. I want to use a hole punch. So it was good to see them. We haven't seen them for a while, so it was good to see them, and chatted for ages. Just chatted. It was really nice for a long time about different variety of things. And they couldn't celebrate Christmas like they normally do because 3 members of their family had COVID, so sort of curtailed their plans a little bit. I wonder if that's in the middle. Sorry, you probably can't see. I'm just going to do inside the... Oh, did it go all the way through? I have to cut that off now, because I don't think I didn't press hard enough the first time. So today we're having a quiet day today. But tomorrow we're going to go for a bit of a drive. We're going to go up to place on the River Murray. The River Murray in South Australia, where I live, is currently in flood. A very rare, very rare occasion that happens. I think the last time was 1972 or 3, but the levels this time are close to the 1956 levels, which are really quite high. And So lots of places have gone underwater, basically. Not underwater, their water's up in their houses and shacks and whatever, because lots of people have got their shacks, their holiday, call them shacks here, holiday homes in on the river. The water is, because they brought in a law they had to have two-story buildings if you were going to build along the river. They brought that rule in. Now, I did the same thing last time. Made life a lot harder for myself because I want to put some back in there from the collection, and I've done the same thing as what I did last time. I probably should have done the sticking on first before I cut it out. Did I think of that? Forgot. Of course. I want to make sure that I've got enough. I'm going to use that. Just cut off from another bit, or should I do it that way around? Have it the right way around? Right, we'll do that. Stick that on. So anyway, we're going up to this little town on the river. They've got a hotel, a pub we call them here. Right, it's on the river, but it's up high on the bank, so their lower bottom is flooded, but the dining room and all that sort of stuff is above the flood water. So we're going to go there for lunch and then go further along the river to a place called Big Bend, which is a big bend in the River Murray, and you can see the River Murray for quite a good distance, because the River Murray is a very old river, and it goes quite low in the landscape along there. And I found out from somebody the other day it's actually the slowest flowing river in the whole world. So that's why, like, flooding happened along the River Murray in the Victorian towns a while ago, and it just takes ages for it to go down to it's taking ages to come down to us, so in South Australia. It's one of our main sources of water, drinking water. We have reservoirs, but we also have water from there as well. Alright, I think that's everything I want to do from there, because this one I just decorated the outside, so I'm going to leave it like that plain. I'm going to stick this down the sides now. Do I want to stick it here? So I want to stick it down the sides. When you make things, sometimes you've got to stop and think about, what did you do? What did you do? That's where I need to stick it. Oh, I need to stick it down here, don't I? That's where I need to stick it. So we're going to go for a drive there, and because of it, a bit of a quiet place, and it's probably easier to see the river without, because apparently the closest town to Adelaide, Manham, has got a levee right down the middle of the main street, and it's very hard to find a park, and there's loads of people there looking at the River Murray there. So we're just going to go a bit further and hopefully not be in anybody's way, because don't want to be in the way of people going about trying to build levees and strengthen levees and make sure that people who have been evacuated are being looked after and all that sort of stuff. We don't want to be in the way. Right, now I'm going to put some glue on this one, on the two sides, and that will take us a bit over an hour to get there. And so hopefully it'll be a bit, I think it's going to be a little bit cooler than it is today, so that'll be good, because it's going to be, this is New Year's Day that I'm filming this. This won't come out till the 2nd of January. Hopefully, it's not very straight, is it really? I think it's going to be a bit cold. What's going to be today? 36 centigrade, and we don't have Fahrenheit anymore here. We all went decimal. Everything, money, measurement, temperature. It's really funny because, like, I can measure in centimeters, this kind of measurement, and know sort of roughly how far a kilometre is and things like that. But when people talk about how tall they are in centimeters or meters, I've got no idea what they're talking about. I just can't visualize it. I have to do the whole feet and inches for measure, for tall, for height. Anyway, so that's what that is there, and I'm going to, so I've done the 3 pockets, so I'll show you, I've got one there now, and I've got one here in the middle between the 2 bags, between the 2 folds in there. I haven't glued too much on that side, hopefully. Very carefully so I don't rip the whole lot. Pocket there, and I'll have a pocket there. So there's my 3 pockets, and then if I wanted to, like I said, you could just, or if you wanted to, you could just glue there, there, and there, and you'd have a pocket at the back as well, which I hadn't even thought of. So I might do that. I don't think Gayle did that either on hers, because she used a wine bag and they're a lot taller, but because mine is a bit shorter, I've got room for another thing in there. Ooh, possibilities. I'm just going to put those to one side. Going to decorate the front. Trying to scan and cut some things here at the same time. What am I going to use? So I did on this bag, I just did a bit of music paper. So I'm going to do the same thing here. That side or that side? That's got more music on it. Should we do it that way? To be different? Why not? So these friends that we went to last night, she likes making golden book journals. So we exchange information and about that kind of thing. And she said she's got a lot of people at her work who have started doing them as well. And I thought, oh, that would be nice. I don't really know anybody that I could sort of journal along with that's quite close. It would be really nice to have somebody to do that with physically. There is Nat on the Adelaide Hill, so but we might just catch up for a coffee, because she's about a good hour away from me. A good hour, probably a little bit more. I'm going to use less of a I'll just use the corner of this, the edge of this, because it's got a fold there, and as we use that. Put that there. Or should I put that there? To match that. Going to do it that way around to match. So if you just tuned in, I'm making a journal using Stamperia Wonderland. And that's my other signature. And that's my cover. And I cut out this and stuck that on that lovely background. So it's pretty. I love this colour combination. It's pretty. So I just need to have something. I've got a dragonfly there. I'm going to put them back in my pocket in a minute. So I'll put them to one side. So I don't want to use those. What shall I use this time? Sorry, just have a look. What shall I have? I don't think I want to use another. Perhaps I could use some butterflies. I want to use the dragonfly. That's a big butterfly there. Do you think, I don't know if that goes because there's no pink on here, but what I could do is I could cut that out. And would it make any difference because it's quite likely I'm going to have something in there that's pink anyway. Like, for instance, this girl. This fairy. Not this girl, this fairy. I'll do that. I'll do the pink butterfly. Got some other things here. The little girl, this girl was too small, too big, sorry. So I'm going to use this butterfly. I'm just going to fussy cut that, and I'm going to use the words as well, like I did on this one here. So just off it, rang my mum and dad because my mum is 85, my dad 87, and they're finding travelling too far is a bit tiring for them now. And my dad still drives. My mum's a bit more reluctant to drive. So we said, but going there is too far for them to now. They just don't. They get too tired. It's too much for them. So we reckon. I know that Dad wanted to go see the River Marine flood, but so I said to him, "Would you like to come with us?" But Mum said, "No, thank you very much for asking, but it's just it would be too tiring for us." And I think my dad is fiercely wants to be independent, and I think that if we drove him, I think he'd feel that he'd lost something. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit hard to explain, really hard to explain. My sister and I are dreading the time where he won't be allowed to drive because he's just, he just loves doing it, and they've already lessened their range of driving within Adelaide itself, but that gives them lots of opportunities. They can still go down to the beach and go to their favourite fish and chip shop and have lunch down there. So their beach is about 20 minutes away from where they live, just straight down a really good road, fast road, a motorway. So they can do that, and they can still drive to our place. We're half an hour away, and they drove to my eldest nephew's place for Christmas Day, and they're about 40 minutes away from where Mum and Dad live. Well, they're doing pretty well, but they're thinking about getting a cleaner to help out, but my dad's not keen on having anybody in the house. Anyway, need something else here, maybe. Maybe I should put the word over there. What do you think? Maybe I need another butterfly after all. I did have a white one, but I don't know where the white one is because it was sort of probably been lost on the... I've got the fan on in here today, and it could be lost, so I might have to cut one out from there or something. But I thought I had a butterfly loose because there was one by itself that cut out from the collection. It could be anywhere. Let me send to my mat. Excuse me a minute. Oh, guess what? It's under my mat. So I could put that one there. And put the word sort of like between the two. Imagination is everything. It is a preview of life's coming attractions. Yes, it would be a bit of a sad place if we weren't able to imagine things. I'm sure that's how inventions happen, because people could imagine it. And I think that's what us crafters do. We quite often, well, I shouldn't say we quite often, some people imagine what's going to happen. I don't always imagine things that what's going to happen. I just play with what's around, and then it just comes to fruition. I don't know if I want to do that though. Just looks a bit lopsided. I'm going to have to put that back there. So I think it looks a bit lopsided. I don't know why. I think I might just leave it like that and put maybe some numbers up there with my number. So I got a, I don't normally buy downloads, but I did buy some. I'm just thinking where I put them. Oh, over here. I haven't got around to go downloading those, cutting them up yet. There I had some labels. I bought some downloads from Which Craft Do You Do, and they had labels and things on them, which I thought would work really well, but I haven't got around to cutting them yet. So I'm just going to use my labels in here. Maybe just a number here, here. Open up. Oh, there it goes. That's because glue on it. Okay, that's why. Got glue on it. Do you want that one or another one? Let's pull a few out and have a look. Could do a text one. Let's have a look. Or we could just do oh, that's too big. Or just the number there. Fussy. Fussy. Oh. Gotta try out these things, work out what you want to use. Got a few jammed in here, so I can't get them out. That number. That goes nicely there, I think. And this one. Or this one. Let's cut this one out and see. Not really. Just one number maybe. No, doesn't go either. I'm not happy with that either. Yep, that'll do. I think that's better than that one. Put that one in there. And put those ones back. My little ephemera holder that I made, and I just want something else. I just need one of my thin ones. Where have I got my thin ones? I probably should have put them all together, but didn't, did I? Thin ones. I don't think I've got any thin ones left. I might do some more. Yeah, I don't think I've got any thin ones. These are my thin ones here. They're all saying the wrong. One I was after was sort of like a compass point thing. So I could just use postcard thing. Yes, let's do that. Just have to ink this up a little bit because it's a bit white into blue. The leftover ink that I had from inking around the edges, we'll just put that one there like it is because it's cream, and cream's in the collection. I can't believe how long this was because I'm faffing about. Because I just like that's why I enjoy it. I'm sorry, but that's how if it just seems like to be not organized, but that's how I just need to play with things to work out how it goes. I do try to be a little bit organized, but with this sort of stuff, I just need to go and what works for me at the time, kind of thing. And not everybody works like that. Some people like to be like to be really organized, and that's totally fine. But on YouTube, and they all are like, well, I'm so impressed. But quite a few people don't do what I do, play. I just like playing with my elements. And now I'm going to use my evergreen bow just to ink the edges. And the reason I'm choosing this because the collection is that colour, I prefer to use a colour ink rather than using something like the Vintage Photo or another sort of brown colour, because I want to highlight the colours. So just for me, that's what I prefer to do, rather than just stick to the same browns all the time. I like to match the collections that I'm using. And I've said that before, I'm sorry, I apologise. That's why I'm explaining why I'm using a colour rather than a Vintage Photo or tea dye or something like that. I mean, that would work really well with this collection as well, don't get me wrong. But it's personal preference, I think. It's what works for you, and what your style is, and what you like. And it's interesting because somebody said to me, "Oh, you've got a certain style with your cards, Karen." And I'm thinking, have I? Isn't it funny? I don't actually think I've got a style, but obviously I must have. I think I like layers. So I've got my things there, and I'll work out what I'm going to put in my. I could just do what I did before, just put some of the elements from the collection. Tag here in the middle. Put my little butterfly so I don't lose it against Gayle. And I could use the girl in this big pocket here, the fairy I should say. And I could use another circle one. I don't think I've got another circle one. I could just use a. Oh, there's another circle one there. Could put that there. I'll see. I'll play around with it, or I might use one of these Flower Fairies postcards that I got from Amazon quite a while ago. They get 100 postcards in a pack, and I've used a few because you can't always hang on to everything. Got to use them. Anyway, oh, that's right. I mean, this one I did a bit of washi tape, so whether I should put washi tape there. Oh no, leave it the right way. Just leave it that way. It just needs a bit more glue. So I hope that was gave you a bit of an idea, or you probably already knew how to make this. That's fine, but that's good. I'm still learning different ways to make things, and I want to thank Gayle for the inspiration of how to make this, and I thought it was fun, and I really liked the way they turned out. So thank you very much for joining me today. Have a really great 2023. COVID's still going to be around, but we've already got through it, so we can keep going through it. So good luck to everybody. Bye bye. Thank you very much for joining me.